Hey guys, today we're going to be learning the Hands Riffle Shuffle. This riffle shuffle is a great shuffle to know how to do, as being a magician, knowing how to shuffle cards properly is very vital. It's a necessity really. So if you can do this shuffle, it's great because it does look quite sophisticated and skillful. As you can see, the cards get shuffled together, and with that bridge ending, it does look quite good. You can see from this other performance what it looks like from a spectator's point of view. So it's definitely something you should know how to do. So with that being said, let's get into it. Okay, so the first thing you need to do when you go to do the shuffle is take the entire deck in your right hand in a biddle grip. So this just means thumb at the back, like in this position here. On the front edge of the deck, you want your middle, ring and pinky fingers. Your pinky doesn't really do anything, it's just there for added support. You don't have to put it there if you don't want. I just put mine there. And your index finger should rest on the top of the deck. So that's the grip. So once you're in this position, you need to rotate your right hand upwards like this. So your thumb is on the top edge of the pack, and on the bottom edge are your middle, ring and pinky fingers. So you're in this position. Your left hand rotates palm up, and your left hand needs to get ready to catch the cards, as in a minute you're going to force cards off the right hand packet and they're going to go into the left hand like that. So once you're in this position, you want to take your right hand and you want to actually angle the deck of cards at about 45 degrees. So you're going to push your right hand to the left like this. So the pack's at about 45 degrees, and once it's at this angle, you take your right index finger and apply pressure to the back of the pack, just here. So with my index finger, I'm applying pressure right there. So as I apply pressure, you can see the deck bends slightly. And as it's bending, I'm going to take my right thumb and I'm going to start riffling cards off that packet. And you should see they fall into my waiting left hand. So we'll just go through that again. You have the deck in your right hand at a 90-degree angle, and your left hand is waiting to catch the cards. You angle the deck at 45 degrees, apply pressure with your index finger, and then riffle cards off with your right thumb. And you should see that cards fall into your waiting left hand. So once you've riffled off about half the cards, you want to stop applying pressure and stop riffling with the right hand, and you should be left in this kind of position here. And the next move is to lever these cards that are resting on the fingertips of both hands up into that position. And you're going to do this by taking your right hand and pulling up. And what that should do is that should tilt these cards into your left hand like this, and you should bring them up to your waiting left thumb, which grasps the top edge of the cards, and you're now free to let go with your right hand as they are secured with your left. So now you've got two packets in the same kind of grip in both hands. So once you're in this position, you want to actually apply pressure to the backs of both packets with your index fingers. And you can see both packets start to bend, and you're going to apply pressure in the same place where you applied it before, in about the centre of the card. So once you're in this position, with your index fingers applying pressure to both the backs of the packets, you start riffling the cards off with your thumbs. And the packets are supported at this time by your middle, ring and pinkies of both hands. You start riffling cards off with your thumbs, and they interlace like this, leaving you in this position. So that's how you riffle the cards and get them interlaced. Now you've got two options at this point. You can either finish with the bridge flourish kind of thing, as I showed in the beginning, which looks like this, or you could just square the cards up. So you just push them together and square them up. So obviously squaring them up is quite easy. I'll just show you that now. Once you've interlaced them, you're going to take your index fingers, which are just resting on top of the packets at this point. You're going to take them and you're going to put them underneath the packets for support. Your thumbs of both hands, instead of resting like this, they're actually going to apply some pressure and you're going to put them like that. So they should be resting on the circle bits of the cards if you're using bicycle cards, which you probably are. So that's the position that your hand should be in. And then you're just going to push left with your right hand and right with your left hand. And you should find the cards square up. Now you should experience some resistance when you do this, and that's just because there's a lot of friction, because as the cards are all interlaced like that, you can imagine there's a lot of friction when you're pushing them together. So you will need to push quite hard at some points to get them to go together. Okay, so if you want to do the bridge flourish on the end of the shuffle, instead of squaring them up, you still want your fingers in exactly the same positions. So your index fingers have gone to the bottom of the packet for support, and your thumbs should be resting on the top. The only difference is that instead of having your thumbs on both cards, the top card, both thumbs should be on the top card. So in this case, the top card is on the right, so I'm going to put both my thumbs on the right. If the card was the other way around, so the top card was on the left, I'd have both thumbs on the left card, like this. You get the idea. The reason for having both thumbs on the top card is it just gives you more support when you're actually doing the bridge flourish. So to actually do the bridge flourish, what you're going to want to do is apply pressure to the edges of the deck supported by your fingers. So this edge here and this edge here. You apply pressure by pushing your right and left hands downwards, and you should get this kind of arch shape. Now don't be afraid to ruin your cards when you're doing this, especially if you're using bicycle cards, as these cards don't keep the bends you put them through unless you really fold them in half almost. So as long as you just apply a fair amount of pressure like this and you get that arch shape, you should be okay. So once you've applied the pressure and you've got the arch shape, the only thing left to do is straighten out all your fingers. And once you straighten them out, automatically the cards should do that bridge flourish. And that's just because your fingers, when you do the arch, your fingers are the only things keeping them from falling and doing the bridge shuffle. So if you release your fingers and release some of the pressure, the cards should just all fall down, creating that lovely bridge flourish. So when you're first trying this, it probably won't go according to plan. I know when I first learned this, it was very difficult. I didn't manage to get it down very easily, but it will come over time, so don't get disheartened if you don't do it first time. The other thing we need to discuss is the spacing of the cards when you shuffle them together. If you have your hands too close together when you're doing the riffle, this is kind of the result, and you can see it's a big mess here. It doesn't allow you to actually do the flourish, and it doesn't actually shuffle the cards very well at all. If you have your hands too far apart when you're doing it, well, they won't shuffle. You'll just look stupid. So the spacing of your hands when you go to shuffle the cards together is very important, and you'll just find this naturally after a couple of attempts. I find just about here is a good distance for me, but everyone's a bit different, so you might find something else works for you. So I'll just quickly summarise all the moves that went into that shuffle. You take the cards in your right hand in a biddle grip, and you rotate your hand like this, so your thumb is on the top edge and your fingers are on the bottom edge. You apply pressure with your index finger and tilt the deck at a 45-degree angle, riffle off about half the pack, and pull with your right hand upwards to secure those cards in your left hand. You apply pressure with both index fingers and riffle the cards off like this. You then take your index fingers to the bottoms of the packets, and if you want to do the bridge, you put both thumbs on the top card, do a bend in the cards like an archway, release your fingers at the bottom and release some of the pressure, and the cards will all fall down and interlace. So that was the In the Hands Riffle Shuffle. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to leave a like, favourite, comment and subscribe. And if you want to keep up to date with what's going on my channel, don't forget to follow me on Twitter and Instagram. The links will be down in the description below. As always guys, this was Complete Deception, and I'll see you later.